Trev's Hockey Show. I'm the Trev. That's too sweet. Anyway, well, we have our break for the season. Second straight season with a condensed schedule, and the second straight season, we get a break for international best-on-best tournament. Obviously, I'm talking about the Olympic break. Last year, we had the Four Nations break, but the difference between the two, this one's about a week longer. And, well, we can live with that. Oh, P.S. My Olympic predictions, they're coming. You'll see them before the men's tournament starts. So, while a lot of teams are probably taking this time to use the opportunity to gear up for an extended run at the end of the season, or, just to even heal their wounds that they have right now, or just get the rest time, I figured I would at least give my thoughts on how the season's gone to this point. And believe me when I tell you, this season so far has not been disappointing. Even though at this point some teams have basically said this is it and we're throwing in the towel, there's still a lot more competitiveness going on and a lot more season to go, even if most teams only have 25 games left, plus or minus. But either way, this is just what I think about the season so far. It's a topic worth discussing, so let's talk about it. All right, so I'm going to start off with the divisions. And to start this, I'm going straight to the Eastern Conference, just because it makes more sense to, I guess. And so starting off with the Atlantic Division, and right off the hop, oh, how the mighty have fallen. Your two-time defending Stanley Cup champs are sitting last in the Atlantic Division. Not even in a playoff pit spot right now. I'll go over where everything sits in the wild card after I'm done with the divisions, but the Panthers. Sure, it's nice watching Marchand get, a career resurgence, if you want to call it that, but man, those Panthers, they sure do miss Barkov. And they probably missed Tkachuk. And if one more major injury happens to this team, their season's basically over, if they haven't already written it off already. But for the Panthers being last, this is a perfect opportunity for Tampa Bay to be like, hey, we're still here. And they sure are sitting first place in the Atlantic right now. Oh, how much changes in Florida. I mean, for what the Panthers were, the Lightning are just better this year. And it could just be a case of injuries have the Panthers down. But at the same token, the Lightning are definitely playing like their window is not closed. And it isn't, the more you want to think about it. I mean, Vasilevsky's on point between goals, against, and save percentage. He could be the guy to beat at the end of the year. But between that, Gensel, Kucherov, Point, and Hagel all keeping the team afloat, they're good. I mean, the Montreal Canadiens, well, they're just surprising. Everybody's sitting second in the division right now. And that's not to be unexpected, right? I mean, between Suzuki, Hudson, and Caulfield, what's there to shake your head at, right? Everything's going good on that end. Slavkovsky, he's definitely coming into his own. I mean, Dobish has been quite the nice surprise for them. Sky's the limit for the Canadiens, right? And I mean, if ever there was a hope for a miracle team amongst Canadian teams, maybe Montreal's it. Detroit, hey, what a difference starting the season with the McClellan has. And it's only brought out the best in them. And I mean, that's never a bad thing. So for Yzerman, the Yzer plan is definitely working, finally. And between Raymond, DeBrincat, and Larkin being your powerhouse offense leaders for the team, that's never a bad thing. Sider really coming to his own on defense. Goaltending could be a little better. I mean, between Gibson and Talbot, hopefully they can keep Detroit well within the game and, hunker down on their goaltending abilities a bit. But either way, watching Detroit be a competitive team is a fun thing to watch. And wouldn't you know it, Buffalo, of all the teams, I figured they were missing the playoffs for a 15th straight year, but it just goes to show when you make a front office change in general manager and bring in a GM that A, not only knows how to run a team, but B, actually gives a damn, lots to be said. I mean, Tage Thompson, he's not quite the powerhouse goal scorer he was a couple years ago, but he's still leading the team in points. Rasmus Dahlin is doing a great job of keeping the defense in check. And Alex Lyon, where'd this guy come from? He's just doing amazing things in net for the Sabres. And you want to talk about surprises, the Bruins. Who would have thought the Bruins were going to be this competitive at this time of the year? I thought for sure they'd be sinking near the bottom. But again, when you have a Pastrnak on your team, what's left to be said? I mean, Geeky's doing the work in goals, but Pastrnak, he's definitely keeping the team afloat. I mean, it's a good thing Swayman is starting to settle down, finally get comfortable again in the crease, because I mean, if that wasn't going to work, they were in a lot of trouble. But see how much they can keep themselves up and competitive for the remainder of the year. And I mean, Ottawa's doing great things, but the things they're doing aren't necessarily doing enough. I thought they were going to be a playoff team. Myself, I thought they were going to be a competitive playoff team, but here they are 6th in the Atlantic. And Stützle leads the team in points. And granted, yeah, Brady had to take that time off because of injury, but Stützle leading the team in points. That's not a bad thing to see. It's not a bad thing to say. It's just a surprise. But goaltending obviously is the biggest question mark still to this point. And when you don't have Ullmark in the team, it shows. And it showed when he had to take his leave. But it'd be fun to see how they manage to get themselves out of that hole. In Toronto, man, they miss Marner. And it shows. Matthews hasn't been the same since Marner left. Nylander's Nylander. Insert your word for him here. One wonders how many times Maple Leafs fans have canceled the parade this year. Because they always do that when the Leafs are starting to have a bad season. I'll cancel the parade. In the net. Hildeby and Wool are just not doing it. And I mean, if it's their fault, it's their fault. But I think a lot of it is defense too. But I don't know, between Nylander, Matthews, Tavares, and Nyes, I don't know. Maybe something has to change. But man, they miss having a guy like Marner. Now in the Metropolitan, no surprises at the top. I mean, Carolina was always going to be top of the division just because they're really that good and they're really built that well for that kind of spot. And it's not because they're getting points by committee. I mean, Aho only leads the team with 57 points. Svechnikov's a below 50-point guy right now. So it's definitely a case of defense is working and goaltenders are working. Brandon Busey has a 2.16 goals against. I mean, Anderson has weaker numbers than that, and Busey is a first-year goaltender. I don't think there's much to worry about in terms of Carolina not making the playoffs. They're definitely making it. Pittsburgh sitting second in the division. What's up with that? This was a team I figured was going to get caught by age. I mean, between Letang, Malkin, and Crosby, all pushing near their 40s. These guys should be well at the bottom. And, you know, egg on my face. They're not even close to the last in the league like I picked them to be. Crosby's still playing at an almost 60-point level. Malkin still has a lot in the tank, even though we're probably sure this might be his last season. Nothing's been announced, but one has to think, you know. And Shelovs, well, he's doing great in the net for them now. I mean, having Stuart Skinner, once he finds his comfortable groove in Pittsburgh, results can be dangerous. The Islanders doing a great job of making sure we don't forget about them. I mean, do you remember a couple years ago, around the turn of the decade, they were Eastern Conference finalists in back-to-back years? You think they can get that magic back again? I mean, what a difference a Matthew Schaefer makes. Having an offensive defenseman to go with your offensive top two in Barzal and Horvat. That's great. That's great. It means you get offense from all areas. Sorokin, once he's on, he's on. Once his defense is covering him, he's solid. So hopefully, between all that, they can make themselves a really focused playoff team. And then you bring yourself to Columbus. And what a difference a coaching change makes. And I'm not saying Evason wasn't the right answer, but obviously Bonus is doing something that Evason didn't do. He's making them win. Werenski obviously was going to be the guy to lead the team all the way through, and he's doing just that. Marchenko is only getting better, and Coyle, oh, yeah, he's doing wonders with his spot there. And in net, I mean, sure, Merzlikins has a 3.49 goals against, but Jet Greaves has a 2.62, and this is only his first year. So look out for Columbus. I mean, they could be the team that makes a lot of noise down the stretch. Now, Washington, I don't know if this is a case of age is catching up to them. I mean, nothing's been made official. They haven't said anything about Ovi retiring, but you have to think his production level is definitely not what it used to be. Not that it's hurting the team at all. I mean, he's still putting up 48 points. And Tom Wilson, where'd this guy come from? This guy was a goon a week ago, or a year ago, sorry. Now he leads the team in points. Stranger things have happened, I know, but that's just something you don't necessarily hear of. Logan Thompson doing a great job of keeping them in, but that's also because he's got great defensemen. Can Washington make the playoffs? I hope so. I mean, I've never once said Washington not making the playoffs is a good thing. But who knows? This might not be a great year for them, playoff-wise. And I'm still trying to think of something good to say about Philly, but it's Philly. I don't know if I can, really. Konechny's obviously doing great things for the Flyers, leading them with 54 points. Zegras, I mean, he's doing better in Philly than he was in Anaheim. That's obviously evident. But Michkov, he's kind of fallen down, hasn't he? And, I mean, net's always questionable in Philly. I mean, Vladar and Ersson, are you comfortable in that solid 1-2? I know I wouldn't be. But, I mean, at the same time, Flyers haven't had a really good goalie since Lindbergh. That says enough. New Jersey reminds me a lot of the Panthers, how the mighty have fallen. And this is, again, our team just hurt by injuries. I mean, losing Jack Hughes for extended periods more than once this season is not helping them at all. I mean, Hughes-Hischier was supposed to be the solid 1-2, but it's just not working. On top of that, your defense isn't doing much to help the cause. Jake Allen's doing what he can, and Markstrom's proven to be the kind of goalie we all figured he was going to be, right? Right. And then there's the Rangers, and, well, I never have anything good to say about the Rangers. But it'll be interesting to see how the Rangers do post-Panarin, now that he's out of the picture. I mean, Zibanejad's now your team leader with 52 points, but the guy who's supposed to be the be-all, end-all in JT Miller, what's he doing with his 36 points? One wonders if he wasn't the problem in the first place. I mean, even Lafreniere doesn't look overly enthused, if you want to call it that. But, again, the Rangers have already written off their season, so what happens from this point is what happens from this point. Shesterkin hasn't played since January 5th, so a lot of it's on Jonathan Quick, and, well, it hasn't really been very nice to Jonathan Quick. But, again, the Rangers have already wrote off their season, so that's that. So moving out west, we'll go to Central Division, and, well, when you want to talk about the Avalanche, this is the powerhouse this year. They haven't lost 10 games in regulation. They haven't lost 10 games in the overtime or the shootout format. They're dominating this season. And, I mean, when you have a team with McKinnon's, Makar's, with Nietzsche's, what's there to say? I mean, Brent Burns, for as long as he's played in the league, is having a great season defensively in Colorado. Goaltending, not even a question. On paper, yeah, I would call them early Stanley Cup favorites, but on paper and in practicality are two different things. Then you got Minnesota, who is 5 points behind right now. And it wouldn't be at all a complete surprise if they managed to find a way to overtake Colorado, but that revolves a lot on bad things happening in Colorado. But with Kaprizov already having 70 points, Boldy has 62, and they've only made good strides ever since Quinn Hughes came on board. Gustafsson and Wallstead definitely doing what they can to keep the puck out and doing really good at it. Don't be overly surprised if they make a good playoff push. Now, the Dallas Stars are interesting. They're still top 3 in the division. They still got Rantanen, they still got J-Rob, and they still got Johnson, they still got Heiskanen. So they're still doing great things. Casey DeSmith and Jake Ottinger, solid 1-2 in the net. The only problem I see with Dallas is they play in the Central. And your top 3 in the Central are all powerhouses, Dallas included. One has to wonder, are they going to actually be able to make that solid step to taking the division over, or are they going to be content being a number 2 or a number 3 team? Either way, good to see them still being competitive. And Utah, for a quote-unquote second-year team, they're making the most out of it. And again, it's not a case of they're scoring by committee. Keller only has 54 points. Schmaltz has 53. Peterka has 38. So again, it's not a case of scoring by committee, but they are getting the important goals when it's time to get the important goals. Vejmelka is doing a lot in net to keep them solidly at number 4. Still see them as a wild card team. Still hopeful they will make it, because you want to see something like that happen for a team like Utah. Nashville at number 5. It would be interesting to see if this is the same Nashville team that finishes the season that way. You have to think, with Trotz already saying he's retiring, stepping down, not getting fired, I guess is the best way to put it. You have to wonder what guys like O'Reilly, Stamkos, even Marchessault, to a lesser extent, if their future is solidly sound in Nashville, or if change is coming. But change has to come in net. I mean, when UC Saros has a 3.20 goals against, that's not a good number. But again, they're 5th now. Whether or not they'll finish 5th remains to be seen. Chicago is an interesting case, because outside Bedard, Bertuzzi, and maybe to a lesser extent Donato, what else really do they have going for them? I mean, Spencer Knight is ready to be a number 1 goalie. He's got the tools. It's there. He just needs a better defense in front of him. I mean, a 2.62 goals against is nothing to sneeze at, but it would be so much better with a solid defense in front of him. I, for one, can't wait for the day when Chicago does actually improve and get better. Now, Winnipeg, last year's President's Trophy champs. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. I know I've said that a lot in this video, but really, the mighty have fallen. And it's not a lack of effort. I mean, Scheifele has 68 points. Connor has 64 points. Velarde has 50. The problem? Net. When they had that extended period without Hellebuck, when he had to go for his knee surgery and Comrie was in net, it didn't help them at all. Actually, I would say that was the root of them falling down in the standings and having a hard time making it back up. I'm not going to say they will or won't make the playoffs, but in my own humble opinion, it could be a long road ahead. For this season, anyway. And then you get to St. Louis, who, while they have moments where they actually look like a good and improved team, if teams are scoring by committee, St. Louis is not scoring by committee. And it's not to say it's Montgomery's fault. Montgomery can only do so much for a team that has no effort, no desire to improve. I mean, thankfully, at the end of the season, they have a GM change coming. But, I mean, Hoffer being your best goaltender with a 2.94 goals against, and he's not even the starter, that says a lot. Binnington has a 3.65 goals against. And this is supposed to be the goalie of the future in St. Louis. Now, granted, I'm sure a lot of it is the defense in front of him or the lack of offense in front of him, but changes have to be made in St. Louis. They can't be comfortable sitting 8th in the Central. Look for them to be big spenders. And as for the Pacific Division, starting off in Vegas, well, I mean, Marner hasn't been the be-all, end-all. I thought he was going to be in Vegas. But he is definitely helping out the team with 58 points. Eichel leading your team with 68 points. Has to be some point where Eichel becomes that 100-point player. It's on the cusp. It just has to happen at some point. Dorfiev having 26 goals this point in the season. Good on him. I mean, I actually enjoy watching him play. So, between him, Hertl, Eichel, even Mark Stone to an extent, the goals are coming. I mean, biggest problem, again, in Vegas, as it always has been, is in net. Between Schmid and Hill, and even to a lesser extent Carter Hart, even though he's on injured right now. Which one's going to be the solid number 1 goalie? I thought for the longest time it was Aiden Hill's job to lose, and apparently it's everybody's goaltending job in Vegas to lose. But again, Vegas really only relies on the regular season just to get to the playoffs. That's the way they were built. It's the way they've always been. So, be interesting to see them finish up the season. Watching the Oilers struggle, even after changing their starting goaltending with an injury-prone goaltender, they should be better than what they are. And it's not, again, for lack of effort. I mean, you have McDavid leading the league right now at 96 points. Draisaitl is only 16 points behind that. The problem in Edmonton, as it always has been since 2006, defense. You've got how many millions of dollars tied in behind Bouchard and Nurse, and they're doing more to not stop the puck. It's not something to be proud of. And again, in net between Tristan Jarry, Calvin Pickard, and Connor Ingram, one of these guys has to prove to be a solid starter, whether Jarry's in or not, whether Jarry's hurt or not. If they want to go back to the Stanley Cup, they need that solid goaltending. Do they miss Skinner now? I don't know, but Jarry's not the answer. Now, I, for one, am very happy to see Seattle in number 3 in the Pacific Division. And again, it's not one superstar leading the team in points and goals, because really Eberle's your point leader with 38 and your goal leader with 20. So it's not one superstar, it's all guys. But at the same token, Seattle has how many UFAs that they might lose at the deadline? The rumors of trading Shane Wright, and I've even heard rumors of trading Matt Beniers, that can't help the cause at all, unless your desire is to tank. But watching Grubauer have a rebound season with a 2.43 and a 9.916 goals against, or save percentage, sorry, that's awesome, because that was Grubauer's job that he lost last year, and he's putting up better numbers than the guy who's supposed to be the starter right now in Joey Decord. Now, I'm not counting chickens, but I really do hope Seattle keeps their spot where they are right now. I mean, they're only a couple points behind Vegas for first in the division. So, again, speaking to the competitiveness of this season. The Anaheim Ducks, what a difference having a Joel Quenneville makes. The Ducks have caught on to the Quenneville system and are running with it. I mean, there was that stretch in the season where they had how many game winning streaks. I mean, for Cutter Gauthier, when he's not getting booed out of Philly, almost leads the team with 50 points. Carlson has 44, Sinecki has 44, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. I mean, Kreider is having a great time in Anaheim since coming from the Rangers. And Lucas Dostal, I mean, once his goals against improves, once his save percentage improves, he'll be a terror in the net, and every team will hate it. For the Kings, it'd be interesting to see how they are with Panarin in the lineup now. I mean, coming in, he'll lead the team with 57 points. Kempe is your next highest point scorer at 46. So if they're going to start winning, they need to start winning now. I mean, yes, it's Kopitar's last year. Let's send Kopitar out on a high note, right? Forsberg, Kemper, they're doing what they can to keep the pucks out. I mean, they both have a save percentage in the 2.5s and a goals against in the 0.9s. It's not high 0.9s, it's not 0.97 and 0.900. But the Kings need to start winning, and they need to start winning now if they're going to make any difference in the Western Conference. The future is teal. And if the future is anything like it looks now, it is going to be scary. I mean, Celebrini is proving why he's the number 1 overall pick. Will Smith, once he starts getting the points up, is going to be scary good too. Eklund and Toffoli are definitely helping out the offense. And if Askarov is your goal of the future, that goals against needs to get a heck of a lot better, as does the save percentage. But again, if the future is teal, it'd be great to see what happens with when they're done making the small tinkerings they have to make, because they do have to make some small tinkerings still. They need more offense. They need better defense. But when they get good, they're going to be really good. Calgary, well, kiss their season goodbye. Huberdeau's gone for the season now. And, well, I would imagine their idea for having a great season was gone well before that. I mean, trading Anderson for Whitecloud, that should have told you everything. But, I mean, rumor was Anderson was on the way out anyway. Coronado leads the team with 14 goals. So again, in the net though, between Cooley and Wolf, that should be a solid 1-2, but it hasn't proven to be. But I imagine either way, the Flames are just looking forward to the draft lottery and hoping for the best. Because that would be the best thing for the Flames, the draft lottery. And as for the Canucks, well, we can just give them the thank you for showing up ribbon. I mean, trading Sherwood, trading Hughes, who knows who else they're going to trade this season. I mean, I'm sure Pettersson's not off the hook. I'm sure DeBrusk isn't off the hook. Nothing's working out in Vancouver. I mean, right now they have the best odds at winning the draft lottery, but that's just right now. Having Demko be the same kind of Demko he's been for the last couple seasons, great until he gets injured, then he's done for the season. Yeah. Let's look ahead to the future of Vancouver, right? Because looking at him now, not good. Which will bring us to your wild card race. And in the East, even between both conferences, for a while there, the last wild card and last place in the conference was only a gap of points. And not a whole lot of points. But, I mean, you look at the East now, and I follow the 10-point rule. If you're behind by more than 10 points, you might as well just kiss your season goodbye because it's really hard to make that up. Rangers, Devils, they're already obviously out on the 10-point rule. But between Buffalo and Florida, if Florida just decides to actually stand up and play, they might make a run for a three-peat. But it's hard to say because, I mean, they're in the same boat as Philly and Toronto, in very big danger of missing. But I hope the competitiveness in the East does not go away, nor do I hope the competitiveness manages to go away in the West, because again, last wild card and last for the longest time was only a matter of points until Vancouver and St. Louis decided, hey, you know what, we're done. Winnipeg and Calgary, you might as well add them to the equation because again, 10-point rule. So that takes you from Utah to Chicago. And even then, you might as well kick Chicago out of the equation. So the West is probably pretty set as far as your top 8 with your 3 competitive teams that might still make the push. But again, if Nashville's going to rule themselves out, it's only a matter of 2. So the West could already be set. We just don't know it yet. But wild card standings, the imagination could run wild on this. If the season ends tomorrow, the Oilers play Seattle. And as a Kraken fan, I'm not sure I'm comfortable with that. But in terms of trades made so far this season, I mean, Quinn Hughes. Was anybody expecting him to go when he went? I mean, it was obvious coming into the season he wasn't going to sign an extension, but I thought for sure Vancouver would trade him at the end of the season to New Jersey. Not to Minnesota. But who's to say how long he stays in Minnesota for, right? Panarin, I thought was going to be traded at the trade deadline. Not before the Olympic break. Rasmus Andersson, again, he wasn't surprised he was traded. Wasn't surprised he was traded to Vegas. Just more surprised he was traded when he was traded. Same thing could be said for Skinner. I mean, obviously Edmonton figures they've got their goalie plan solved, that they were able to trade away the goalie who took them to the Stanley Cup Finals for the last 2 years. Call it Pittsburgh's problem now, but Edmonton has that injury-prone goaltender problem now. And sticking with Vancouver, trading Kiefer Sherwood, that was inevitable. I mean, he was probably going to leave at the end of the season anyway. But it'll be interesting to see what happens between now and the trade deadline between teams like Calgary, New York, and Vancouver, if they just don't decide to gut everything out and go from there. If there'll be much of a trade deadline to talk about. And then finishing off with the Art Ross race. And for the longest time, McKinnon was holding it down until McDavid caught up. Now that McDavid's caught up, Kucherov is catching up. And now that Kucherov's caught up, Celebrini and Draisaitl are right there to round out your top 5. I mean, obviously, it's going to be McDavid, McKinnon, and Kucherov racing out to the end, but who takes that? I mean, McDavid's only 4 points away from 100. McKinnon's 7. Kucherov is 9. So we've already easily got 300-point scorers, but I don't know. I can't say one way or the other. I'm comfortable putting my money on this guy, that guy, or the other guy, because it could go either way, really. And I'm hoping McKinnon will win the Art Ross, but that's just what I'm hoping. What I hope and what are going to happen are two completely different things. But if the Art Ross race is this competitive right now, I'm looking forward to the rest of the way. So long and short, my thoughts for the season so far, I love the competitiveness. I really do. I mean, take away the teams that have already thrown in the towel, and you still got a very competitive league. I hope it stays this way the rest of the way, because this is entertaining. This is fun to watch. Biggest thing I'm looking forward to, as I said, though, is the Art Ross race. I really don't know which way I want to call it, unless one of the three players that I mentioned earlier goes on a huge point spree. It's anybody's game. But that's why we have 25 or so more games to play for most teams. But let me know your thoughts on how the season has gone to this point. Let me know where we agree, where we disagree, where we could start debating on. I'd love to hear it. So that's another one of them Trev's hockey shows. I want to thank you for tuning in. Don't think I don't appreciate the gesture, especially if you've made it to this point. And believe me, I did not intend to make this a 31-minute video. It just kind of went that way. But you know what? It's hockey, and I'll always talk it all the time. So the fact that I've caught you and kept you for at least over half an hour, I mean, I understand you have 32 minutes you could spend doing other things, but the fact that you chose to use those minutes to listen to me, I'm very thankful. So thank you very much for taking your time to watch this and making it to this point. But if you have made it to this point, you're digging what I'm doing, you just want to say, hey, feel free to throw me a thumbs up, dude. I'm all for it. Trust me, it helps. Not only are you helping the watch time, you're helping the algorithm. And helping the algorithm is never a bad thing. On top of talking about the algorithm, if you want to, if you haven't done so by now, that red button that says subscribe all over it, come on, you know you want to hit it. I know you want to hit it. That algorithm that we keep talking about. It knows you want to hit it. And why deny yourself a good thing, right? I mean, I'm posting up quite frequently these days, even though I'm fighting myself to keep motivated. I'm still posting up quite a bit, so that's never a bad thing. I mean, we're making that push to 500 by the end of the year. We tried so hard last year. Let's get there this year. Let's make this happen. Let's help this guy out. If you really want to, you want to go that extra mile, that link in my description below, that'll take you to my Facebook page. Feel free to join that. I'd love to help build the numbers up there like I'm building the numbers here. I'm quite frequent on there, whether it's posting on my own page or posting on other threads. I'm there, so I can be found. But I'd love for you to join my page. So moving forward, as far as the season goes, well, there's lots more coming in, but I can tell you the next video I got coming up is my Olympic predictions, because I got to start that playlist off here. So be looking for that, but either way, in the meantime, and between time, be looking for yourself, Trev. Later.